Maya stared at her phone, reading the group chat messages with a growing knot in her stomach. Her friends were planning another weekend getaway, and once again, she wasn't invited. This wasn't the first time, but somehow, it still caught her off guard. It had started innocently enough 6 months ago when she joined the marketing firm downtown. Sarah, her bubbly colleague, had immediately taken her under her wing. "We're going to be such great friends," Sarah had declared on Maya's first day, flashing that perfect smile. "I can already tell we have so much in common." Within weeks, Maya found herself part of Sarah's inner circle, which included Jessica from accounting and Tom from sales. They grabbed lunch together, shared weekend plans, and Maya felt like she finally belonged somewhere after moving to the city. But lately, something felt different. "You're so lucky you don't have to worry about money like the rest of us," Jessica had said just last week, when Maya mentioned wanting to save up for a vacation. Maya had looked at her confused. She worked the same job, lived in a tiny apartment, and carefully budgeted every expense. When had she ever given the impression that money wasn't a concern? "Oh, you know I'm always here for you," Sarah would say, whenever Maya faced a challenge at work or in her personal life. Yet when Maya had called her crying after a difficult conversation with her mother, Sarah had cut the call short, claiming she was busy with something that couldn't wait. Tom was perhaps the most confusing of all. "You're definitely one of my closest friends," he'd tell her regularly, especially when he needed Maya to cover his shifts or help with his projects. But Maya had never been to his apartment, never met his girlfriend, and realized she knew almost nothing about his life outside of work. The pattern became clearer during their monthly team happy hour. Maya watched from across the bar as her friend group huddled together, whispering and glancing in her direction. When she approached, the conversation immediately shifted. "We were just talking about how amazing you looked in your presentation today," Jessica said, with an exaggerated enthusiasm that felt hollow. "You're so naturally gifted at public speaking. I could never do what you do." But Maya remembered Jessica's eye roll when their boss had praised Maya's presentation earlier that day. "I'm just not good with confrontation," Sarah had explained when Maya asked why she never stood up for her when their co-workers made snide comments about Maya's ideas. "You understand, right? I hate getting involved in drama." Yet Sarah seemed to have no problem stirring up gossip about other colleagues behind their backs. The breaking point came during Maya's birthday celebration. She had excitedly planned a small dinner, inviting her closest friends. "I wouldn't miss it for the world," each of them had promised. "Your friendship means everything to me," Tom had added, with what Maya now recognized as his signature hollow sincerity. One by one, they canceled. Sarah had a sudden family emergency. Jessica remembered a prior commitment she couldn't break. Tom claimed he was feeling under the weather. Maya sat alone at the restaurant, staring at the empty chairs around the table she'd reserved for 6. The next Monday, she overheard them laughing about their weekend adventures. The same weekend, they'd all been too busy to attend her birthday. "I feel terrible about missing your dinner," Sarah said when she noticed Maya's distant behavior. "But you know how much I care about you, right? We should definitely do something soon to make up for it." Maya nodded politely, but something inside her had shifted. She began noticing things she'd previously overlooked. How they only included her when they needed something. How their compliments always felt backhanded. How they seemed to take pleasure in her small failures while dismissing her successes. "We're practically family," Jessica had said just that morning, while asking Maya to work late so she could leave early for a date. "But family doesn't abandon you on your birthday. Family doesn't make you feel small while claiming to build you up. Family doesn't promise support and then disappear when you need it most." That evening, Maya made a decision. She stopped responding to their group chat immediately. She started eating lunch alone, focusing on her work, and slowly began building connections with colleagues who showed genuine interest in her well-being. Months later, as Maya laughed with her new friend Elena over coffee, she realized what authentic friendship actually felt like. It felt like being seen, truly heard, and valued for who she was, not what she could provide. True friends don't need to constantly declare their friendship. They show it through consistent actions, genuine support, and honest communication. Sometimes, the most valuable lesson we can learn is recognizing when someone's words don't match their behavior, and having the courage to walk away from relationships that diminish rather than enrich our lives.